What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. I didn't film an intro or an outro for this video. This is day 4 out at Lake Mohave for the 2023 One Bass US Open. Lake Mohave is an awesome lake, but it can be downright tough sometimes. This is my 4th day out on the water and the roads, my 4th day and final day of practice before everything starts to count. And we go out there, we try to fish for the biggest 5 that we can in order to win over $100 and something thousand. I think the winner won $74,000 plus a brand new full-size bass cat boat. It's an awesome tournament. It's the biggest tournament we have out on the West Coast. So while out there on this final day of practice, I didn't film a whole lot of talking. I did some, but I didn't do a lot that kind of give you insight into what I was thinking and what I was trying to accomplish by going to certain areas around the lake. So that's what I'm going to do in today's video. I'm going to kind of film here in the garage and kind of give you insight into what I was doing and why I went to certain areas. So starting off the day, I went into the backs of some of these different cuts and coves, and I was looking for grass and I was trying to find a topwater bite. Sometimes fishing topwater out at these desert lakes can be game changing, and you can get some big largemouth doing it. The smallmouth on the points and out on the main lake just really weren't wanting to come up for that topwater, but I felt like if you got around the right kind of grass, you got around some bait, you might be able to get some of those bigger largemouth to go. A better one. There we go. Not a bad one right there. What I just caught that on is 6 Sense Dogma that I custom painted with my dual molds bait blast. I took all the paint off of this one and then just kind of made it that chartreuse, that clear. And I caught a couple fish on it this morning. For some reason, these desert lakes, those fish really like chartreuse. So I thought I'd give a little special custom color action on it. So as you can see, we got some topwater bites. They weren't those giants that you were looking for, but if you can maximize that morning bite and get one big largemouth in the morning, it's really gonna help you out, because then it's not gonna be as hard to, 1, get a limit because you got a good fish early, and 2, it might be one that you're not gonna have to worry about culling out later on in the day. So there's a lot of positives by being able to find areas where they wanna come up and commit to that topwater bait. Another couple things that I wanted to try out throughout the day of the practice was a swim bait, and then also coming back to the jerkbait bite that I had found in previous days in practice. I was fishing some of those grass flats, and I found a jerkbait bite that worked pretty well. I could use the 6 Sense Provoke 106X or the deep diver in the Provoke 106 and catch some fish. I was hoping that that deeper diver, getting down another foot or 2, would get me just a little bit better quality of a fish, but it only kind of gave me some keepers. But I was able to go out there, go to different parts of the lake, and still find some of those jerkbait largemouth in that grass. So as the day went on, I needed to go back out in some of that deeper water, fish some of those outside high spots, and try to find some of those better quality smallmouth that I was gonna need if I wanted to have a good tournament. You gotta have some of those better than average smallmouth, because that's what the winners are gonna be fishing for. So if you wanna compete and you wanna try to be in the mix come the day 3 of the tournament, you got to try to get some of those smallmouth. So I went out, fished some of those outside high spots, struggled to get some bites, but managed to get one. It wasn't anything special, it might have been a 2-pounder, but it kind of gave me some confidence that if I went out and did some of that, I would be able to get some bites. Well, midday update is that it's tough. There's a little flurry, it seems like, every morning where you can get some bites, and then it just gets real tough as soon as the sun comes up. I don't know what that means. I think that's just typical fall fishing. I have a feeling, you know, as it gets later on in the day, like right before it gets dark, I'm sure there's probably bites to be had then. But we can't fish then during the tournament. So we got to figure out how to catch them. We're going to start going deep and throwing drop shot, finesse, stuff like that. See if we can't get some bites out deep, because maybe in the tournament, you know, we can get a few bites in the morning and then go out deep and try to get a few more, and then, you know, as the result of that is a limit and a decent one hopefully, and maybe we cull a couple times with some good fish out deep. Hey guys, real quick, got to interrupt the video. I want to talk to you about Waterland Fishing Optics, guys. Waterland Fishing Optics makes awesome polarized sunglasses. These right here are the Ashore frames in the gray mirror lenses. I love these Ashores when I need a little bit of a frame that goes around the side of my head in order to keep more light out. A lot of times when I'm around town, I'm going to be fishing with my high bros or wearing the slaunches, and I'll wear the slaunches on the water a lot as well. But sometimes you just need that little bit extra on the side, which these Ashores give you. So head over to the Waterland Fishing Optics websites, waterlandcode.com. Use discount code LUNA15. It's going to save you 15% off. Well guys, that was pretty interesting. I came into this area with some steep rock in it, and I mean, it's like bluff walls. And I'm just pitching that drop shot into little pockets with shade, and I got a couple bites. One of them came off. I had 5-pound test and I had a knot in it, and I just wanted to see how big it was. And it was definitely a keeper. I'd say it was probably at least 2.5, which at this point I'd be happy with a 2.5. This is something that I wouldn't mind doing, is fishing this little, you know, bluff walls. It's gonna be wind protected. The fish are gonna be set up very specific in those little pockets with the shade, little ambush spots, and you'll be able to just pitch that drop shot on their head. The Divine swim bait, the little one in the electric shad color, is the one that they're eating right now. I caught a good one on that yesterday as well, but I'm excited. I just found that. Knowing that the bite was super tough out on Lake Mohave for most people, I'm sure there were some guys that were going out there and just absolutely smashing some fish every day. But for the most part, it was gonna be a tough tournament. These desert lakes don't do well around pressure, so I knew I was gonna have to find something a little bit off the wall in order to be consistent and to be able to go out there and catch fish 3 days in a row. So I kind of relied on some of my past experience fishing Lake Mead, where sometimes when it's super tough, you can go fish some steep stuff and get some of those bites. So that's what I did. Well guys, I think we got ourselves a little bit of a daytime game plan that didn't take long. I've gone to 2 cuts and got 2 bites, 2 keepers for sure, well 2.5er. Around that steeper rock was game changing for me, because 1, I got a lot of bites in a short period of time, and 2, I didn't think there was going to be a ton of people doing it, and then 3, I also got some 3-pound, 2.5-pound bites, which are going to go a long way in a tournament. A lot of times you don't need giant fish in order to compete. A lot of times you're going to need those bigger giant fish for that lake in order to win a tournament. But to just do well, you're just going to need those quality, decent keepers, and those 2.5, 3-pound fish were exactly what you need. Because if I would have had 15 pounds a day in this tournament, I would have been in the mix on the final day, and I would have been easily in the top 10. So one real bummer thing happened to me on day 4 of practice, and that was that topwater bait that I had custom painted that I talked to you guys about in the beginning of the video. I ended up breaking it. A couple casts after catching the decent largemouth, I ended up going to cast it, hit the head of the trolling motor, and completely broke the bait. So I couldn't use that one anymore. So what I did is I got in the boat and I scraped all the paint off of a 6 cents Dogma and got it down to about as clear as I could get inside of the boat. And then I took a Sharpie in order to get as close to a chartreuse color that I had on that custom painted one. And I just used a Sharpie and just started coloring the top of it to try to give it that same hue. And then after I got the bait into a spot where I felt like it was fairly close to what I had before, I started running some topwater areas. Another one. I think we're done. So guys, I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty awesome being able to get some of those topwater bites on that, you know, craft project that I did on the boat. I literally took a pair of scissors and scraped all the paint off of that 6 cents Dogma and then just custom colored it with a Sharpie on the boat. I keep Sharpies in the boat in multiple colors for just a situation like this, and it came in super handy. Well guys, that's it for practice. We've got a game plan, and I'm gonna explain exactly what that game plan is going into the tournament come tournament day. So stay tuned for more videos from the WON Bass US Open. And if you haven't watched all 3 of my practice days so far, make sure to go back and check the playlist for my 2023 WON Bass US Open event and catch up on everything that you might have missed.